We should be live. Oh, I need to turn off my aircon. You guys are going to hear that very loudly. Come on, turn off. Hopefully the room won't get too hot in that time. I dropped the room by like 6 degrees with the aircon. Oh, like being British. Being British and having aircon feels like I'm upper class. And I want to clarify, I'm nowhere near. I mean, I feel like it's a really, really weird thing. I probably should bring it up because there's probably a lot of controversy behind probably a lot of debate around it. But I feel like in general, the UK doesn't have as much as like an upper and lower class system as some other places. Like, I don't think I have really met someone. You know what? I'd love to meet someone who's considered upper class in the minds of people outside the UK. Like, I meet someone and they're like, I'm trying to think of, I can't even think of stereotypical English accents, but you know, like the stereotypical, like, posh, very posh accent. I think that'd be so funny. Where's music? I'd love to meet someone who actually sounds that posh. The closest person was probably the first year of my university. There was this really, really nice guy. Really nice guy. He was definitely he had a very quirky personality to an extent. But okay, YouTube, that was weird. But yeah, I'm just setting up things at the moment, sorry. He was probably the poshest sounding person I've ever met. He wasn't posh. In fact, I'm pretty sure he would have been considered lower class, but meeting someone actually like that, super posh, super rich, would be very interesting. I do find something very weird in the UK, because I've heard there are some people, and I've known some people, or more I've known some people who've made comments about other people that say they're too posh to shop at somewhere like Sainsbury's and Tesco's and Asda, which is probably the 3 biggest places over in the UK for just general, like, your food and everything. You got smaller shops like Co-op and stuff, but Tesco's, Asda, and Sainsbury's are probably the top 3. Then you've got, like, the, I guess, cheaper stores, which is like Lidl's and Asda, which I think are fine. I shop at them all the time. But then you've got the expensive or posh stores like M&S and I can't remember the expensive shops. Expensive shops UK. That's not expensive shops. Posh grocery store. Okay. Waitrose and M&S. That's the other one. Like, I've known people, I've never known anyone directly, but I've known people who say that they have like friends who refuse to shop anywhere that isn't M&S and Waitrose because they don't want to shop basically in like poorer people's shops. But food's food. I'm pretty sure I've heard like celebrities, like British celebrities, saying, "Oh, I'm popping down to Tesco's" and stuff like that. Like, what? That kind of stuff confuses me. This is a really random topic that I'm bringing up. Steve looking very good today. To be fair, you'll see me in a second and you'll be like, oh. Alright. I was going to stream on Kick. I forgot. I was like, I may as well stream on that too. Upside just shifted the entire screen. What's this one down here? YouTube chat. Right, okay. So these things are usually broken anyway. We should be good. I don't know why. Test. There you go. Sorry, where is it seeing on this? Oh, it's just seeing towards the bottom. Okay. We stretch this. See your chat as well. There you go. We do a test here. I should probably post that I'm streaming as well. There's so many small things I have to do when I start. And I could probably make it all automated. I'm just too lazy. There's probably a very easy way to set it up, and for some reason I can't convince myself to do it. Oh, is the Steam sale off? Oh, I kind of forgot about it. What was it? Ooh, Halls of Torment, what's that? Oh, overwhelmingly positive. Oh. Looks like a Diablo Vampire Survivors type game. Actually, no, it looks mostly like Vampire Survivors. Okay. Camera. There I am. Look at the shirt I'm wearing. Wait. I have a matching... My parents said it looks like PJs, like pajamas. Like bedwear. Alright. You can hear me, right? I'm not just been talking into the void this whole time. Wait, why has my camera got a separate microphone? I got my new phone. I got the 20S1 Ultra renewed. It was about £300 cheaper for having it secondhand. I have noticed one thing, like an imperfection, and it's that a part of the screen I can see in a reflection, like there's a like maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but like right here, it's almost like there's a circle that's warping it a little bit. I mean, if you look at the surface, it looks, I think, fine. I mean, it's not, the phone isn't like bent, is it? I've just not realized. If I lay that flat, I mean, you can't lay it flat because of the camera. The camera like protrudes at the back. But I mean, that looks flat, right? Is that bent at all? No. Takes very nice pictures though. I'm quite happy with the camera quality. Sip this. I don't want to give you guys too much to look at. Oh, actually. Oh, I'm at the max button. Oh. Let's get my environment up. Blender updated, and because of that, I have to go back into the file directory and do the selected only thing again. When I click export FBX, selected object isn't selected. I didn't realize that would be a problem. So I have to fix that. I've been playing getting over it a decent amount. Like, how many hours have I got on it? 10 hours. I've completed it about 10 times in that time. I've been trying to practice going faster. And I can't do it the same way as other people. But, you know, a discussion I had, I like it as like, is there anybody here to talk to me about, this with me? Oh, wait. I didn't realize I hit that so you didn't say it. Sponsored by 20S1 Ultra. No, 21S Ultra, sorry. I think. I don't think it's the 20. Wait, have I hit the camera? I got this case that like hides the camera because it's got a really nice camera. Jesus. Got a really nice camera, so I didn't want to damage it all. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, I was having like this really long conversation with one of my friends yesterday about sensitivity in video games. Now, I have an older brother he's known in his community. He's a YouTuber. He's literally not famous. I won't say who he is because I don't really like advertising my brother's channel. But he's a particularly proper YouTuber, and he's got a very big following for the fact that he's very good at shooting games. Now, he has 4,000 DPI mouse or settings, and he's got a very, very, very high sensitivity when he plays shooting games, and he's known for being a crack shot. He's really good. He plays... Hi, give me right now, so I won't be very communicative, but I want to say hi and look, have a fun stream. I will. I'm just talking about sensitivity in video games. So, I don't know what you guys play on, but the most common sensitivity to play a shooting game on is like, you know what, I'm going to actually just move this and I can like show you sort of the mouse movement that you would usually do. And I like balance it. Right, so when I play video games, I don't know if any of you have ever known this, but it's actually we had like a long discussion about it, and I was just like, I mean, I just use high sensitivity, man. Like, I'm like my brother, but I don't even use as high as he does. So, when I move the mouse, right, if you see my mouse on the screen, look how much. I just got to move it like that, and I go from one screen to the other. See that? Whereas, I've been seeing people, man, mine's at 3000, and then I set stuff in game height. Yeah, right? And he kept, the funny thing is, he kept coming up with, if he's watching, he's like, no, he's talking about me. He kept coming up with like, trombone tramp. With like, not excuses, but like, oh, it's because you like play League, right? And you need a high sensitivity for League. I was a shooting game gamer when I first started playing PCs back when I was about 13, about 13 years old when I got to PC gaming. The games I played were all shooting games. The most of the start of my gaming, what I did with gaming was shooting games. I started on console, then I went to PC, and then up to about 18, 19, or even higher, probably even up to 21, 22, I pretty much strictly played, you heard League, you play a lot of League. I strictly played shooting games, and my sensitivity, I'm pretty sure my sensitivity back there was even higher. Now I'm at 2800, and I sort of fiddle with the sensitivity in games. And like, I was considered quite a crack shot in those games. Yeah, queuing right now, nice. Are you playing ARAM or Summoner's Rift? I could play if you want, we could play at the same time. I was known for being a pretty good shooter, and even today, despite barely practicing on shooters, I barely play shooters anymore, I could still hold my own. What position do you play? I can still pretty much hold my own in shooting games. Like, if you sat me down with someone who was considered moderately good, I could probably kind of hold my own against them, because I've always been pretty good at shooters. Support. What's your favorite type of support, and do you do any one tricks? I got to platinum by just playing support. And I used to play Janna, Rakan, and that's about it. I just spam Janna, Rakan. I play every single role in the game. Like, top lane, I play Garen, Renekton, Fiora. That's probably some other ones I'm not figuring. Oh, Gangplank, Teemo, weirdly enough. I'm level 7 on Teemo. I'm level 7 on a lot of chats. That's like the 5 most common tops. Mid lane, I play Ahri, Veigar, Karthus, Annie, Lux is probably the 5 most common ones there. Jungle, I basically play Warwick, Rammus, and Nunu. And then ADC, which is probably considered most people would consider my main, I play Jhin, Misfortune, Caitlyn, Ezreal, and Draven. There you go. That's my list of every champ I play the most, but I play pretty much every single role quite a lot. I play mostly ARAM because I don't really enjoy Summoner's Rift. Seraphine, Soraka, and Milo. What's Milo like? I've never even played it. Oh, I also like Zilean right now. Oh, okay. What was I talking about? Yeah, so talking about sensitivity. And I even jumped into a game because he was like, he wasn't saying that you can't be good at shooters with high sensitivity, but he was like really... He was kind of adamant that it's just like such a bizarre thing, even though I come from a background where most people I know good at shooters, except from friends nowadays, used to have really high sensitivity. When we used to play Quake, when we used to play Unreal Tournament, and even when we did used to play Counter-Strike, most of the people I used to play those games with used to have a relatively high sensitivity. Even though I know if you look online, it's not common to have a high sensitivity in those games, right? Like if you actually look... common DPI in CSGO. It's... Wait. Most esports professionals use low sensitivity, so it is recommended to follow such an example if you plan to start your... So they say anywhere between 300 to 100, wow. But the pros are usually around 400, but that's just so slow to me, because like, I would never be able to react to someone behind me, but I watch some people play, and they're like this. They're like, oh, I'm going to turn around, whoop, and they literally use like their whole mouse mat, or even, yeah, just do like a 180. To do a 180 for me, I'm just like, whoop, and I've done a 180. Just whoop, 180. If I want to do a 360, whoop, done. Like, just rotating my wrist from far left to far right, and I should have done a 360 easily, if not more. Then a 180 is like a full, minor sort of flick. Yeah, so I find it crazy. Like I said, he wasn't like telling me you can't play shooting games on that sensitivity, but like, I'm not to say in a way of tooting my own horn. I'm known to be particularly good sort of any game I play. I'm not amazing, but I'm decent at every game I play. And I usually play on keyboard and mouse. And if you look up most of the games that I play, what's the recommended DPI? All of them will say much lower than 2800, which is what I got. Like, I just don't want to say. I just like playing on high sensitivity. My arm would get tired. Like, how are people who play on 400 DPI not like freaking hench? Like, how is their arms just not bulging with muscles of how much they got to move? Like, I just couldn't do it. I know that's a very, very random rant. Sorry, I forgot to... Oh, that's my stream. I keep hiding Twitch chat. My name is Letterborn. Feel free to add me. Oh, I meant like, we play at the same time, but we could play together. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you'd still be... Wait. You'd still be in EU West, right? I can't remember where you said you live. I'm terrible. I can't select it. You can see me trying to select it, but because... Oh. But because of disappearing, it, like, won't let me... Look. Stop. I mean, I could just type it in. I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's add you. I'll just go. If your mouse pad is not at least 1 by 1 meter, 1 by 1 meter, and you're not using all of your... I think he did say like a meter mouse pad actually when I took to him. I just couldn't have that room. No matter where I've lived, at the end of the day, I come from a poorer background. I've always had to deal with the most minor spaces when I've wanted to do something. I wouldn't be able to afford a desk. I wouldn't... Until recently, I wouldn't have been able to have enough room for a desk that would even allow a mouse pad that big. My desk right now, you saw my hand, that's pretty much the only space I could use my mouse. Which is what, like maybe a foot? 1 foot by like 0.7 of a foot, like mouse mat. Like, it's just, you know, I wouldn't be able to do it. So maybe it's just because I had to learn from there. I literally used to play shooting games with a mouse on my bed, or with a laptop. I used to play shooting games not on a flat surface, on a duvet. And I still could keep my own. Like... Add a friend. Add friend. I've never... Oh, I very, very rarely add people to League. People usually add me. I think I had a purge not too long ago. Oh, there you go. Friend request sent. Hopefully. Alright, let's actually get something done today. My weeks have been a little bit stressful on work. It's less been like... It's not the fact that I've had a lot of work. It's just been kind of stressful, which kind of puts me off doing stuff. Which is a little bit of a shame. But it's just... It is what it is. Am I missing anything important? I'm missing a handle over here. I'm not a particularly stressed person. I can get annoyed and stuff very easily at things, but I don't particularly get stressed over anything. But I have to say, I think my job at the moment is pushing to that. It's just the environment at the moment just seems very... I don't know what word I want to use, because I don't feel like I'm being mistreated necessarily. It's just a bit of a rough environment at the moment. Let's combine that. Oh, I can't, because they are separate meshes. I was also going to look at... I've not got it up. I wanted to look at some particle effects for my other job because I want to get some stuff in. Do you play shooting games, Mega Cool Man? Because I used to fly around. It's a shame I can't show off how good I used to be at shooting games to my friend. Because I don't know whether or not he believes me. I did used to be very, very good because they were the only things I used to play. And I used to play, I think, on more sensitivity and DPI than I am now. But I feel like I wouldn't be able to show him that these days. Oh, you're playing a shooting game right now. There you go. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to show him some really cool stuff I used to do. Because I used to... Because he was like, oh, but if you AWP in Counter-Strike, you need a really low DPI. I used to be like an AWPing god. Maybe not like god level, but I was pretty nutty. I used to just run out the open and pew, 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 pew. Well, bit slower than that because it's an AWP. So pew, pew, or QQ. QQ? I always forget if Q is the button to swap. I said that recently. I haven't played Counter-Strike in 3 years, so it's a bit hard to remember. Yeah, and I mean, I still play shooting games. You can guys watch me and play Gunfire Reborn. I'm just headshotting everything like all the time. I know that's not against players, but it's still like, but yeah, it's an interesting conversation because it's like, because I said I don't know how people do it with low sensitivity. I don't know how you can get a very accurate aim when you're moving your mouse so drastically using your whole arm. That means you've got 2 points of control. You've got your wrist and you've got your arm. That, for me, leaves a way more room for error. When I'm only using my wrist to aim, it's like very precise because I'm only using one part of my body. Mixing in 2 parts of the body, I personally think would be harder, and I wouldn't be able to be as good as a shot with my whole arm with a 400 DPI. I just wouldn't. But I wonder if there is any professionals who have ever been professional CSGO players with high DPI. No, yeah, like 800's like the highest. But this person here is notably the highest who does... Oh, okay, no, there are some professionals with a high one. He does a 1.57... Well, so, and he has an EDPI of 2,400. So there are some people who have high. This one has 2,160. That's very specific. 1,760. 1,880. 1,600. So there are clearly people. Wait, hold on a minute. Best AWPer in the world. This guy, I don't know if it's just the video joking about it, but it comes up as best AWPer in the world with his name attached, and he has the highest DPI recorded in competitive play. He has a DPI very close to my DPI. Okay, this makes me feel better. It's one of those things, I'm playing like Getting Over It at the moment, and I don't know if the DPI is going against me right now because I can't get some areas down. And I don't know if it's because I need to set my DPI to exactly what other people's are to make it mimic their movement a bit better. Okay, so we need to do the moose's head. Now, deer head, sorry. It's not moose. Now, I'm kind of worried how to make this because I always have a really bad time modeling something that's like 2D, that's organic looking, and he's not that hard of a shape, right? Like, I should be able to start with like a sphere, a lower sphere, because I'll subdivide it. In fact, it could even be an 8x4, and then I subdivide it. So I could start with like really... Thanks for the invite, got it. Might have missed some of what you said, to be honest, but later I'd love to talk about League. Oh, heck yeah. I will say I'm not super in the League, despite how many hours I've probably put into it. People talk to me about like competitive play all the time. They're like, oh, did you like this person? Did you watch this match? I'm like, I am so disconnected from esports. I have no interest in it. So if you want to talk about the game itself, feel free. I love talking about video games. But if you want to talk about anything outside, like, oh, did you see the artist who did this in the game? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm purely a gamer when it comes to games. I don't tend to reach outside. I just hit my microphone. The area of the actual game to talk about like developers, artists, musicians who worked on the game. But I love the game itself. I think League of Legends is a very, very good game. I don't really play it unless I'm playing with friends. And I think a lot of people who say it's a bad game just don't know what that really means, because like League of Legends, unless it's just your opinions, you don't like MOBAs. But if you are into MOBAs, League of Legends is just really, really good. And it's because the reason people say they don't like it is obviously because, oh, I hate it, this person's toxic, the whole community's toxic. I'm like, that doesn't make the game bad, though. Time wasted on LOL. Let's see. I am the gamer guy. Oh, you didn't. I didn't even say what my name was. The gamer guy, US. Time wasted on LOL. It's probably over 3,000 hours. Probably coming up to 4,000. But I have been playing it since 14, so almost 10 years. Oh, I've only got 1,800 hours on it. You know what? For something I've been playing for like 9 years, that's much lower than I thought it would be. I mean, considering I have Binding of Isaac, which I have 800 hours on. Oh. Oh. I thought he had an update. Wow, they've not updated the game at all this entire year so far. You know, I don't know how people... I know Letterboxd's probably not able to listen to me, but I don't know how people only play like one role in League of Legends. Or not one role, sorry. One like champion in League of Legends. I would just get so bored. Like, I just wouldn't be able to handle that, personally. Is it like this? Then we grab the front here. Pull you out. Yeah, my dog's fighting. Like that. And he's got a nose, which will basically just... I wonder if we could do it like this. Now, that's a terrible way to do it, right? I always like to try to reuse shapes. I kind of worked. I like to reuse shapes as much as I can, but I think this is probably a lost cause. Actually... be like this. You guys got any show recommendations to watch? I am not watching anything at the moment. I watched something called Yellow Jackets. That was pretty good. Recommended by my friend, she's got pretty good taste, so I kind of trusted her to recommend something fun. Well, fun. Fun is probably not the way to describe that show. But it was definitely good. It was very fun. Very fun. I almost said fun again. It was a very good show, honestly. I may be easily impressed these days because I just don't watch as much telly as most people. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just not a movie. I'm just not a TV show watcher, really. I just don't really watch anything. This is the part I'm worried about because it's all one mesh, right? So we can't do our normal cheatsy way of whoa. If it matches that way, it doesn't really make sense. It would also need to come in more that because I'd need to get the spot. Oh, I know people hate seagulls, but a seagull fell from the sky and landed in my garden. And he's hurt and he can't fly. He's not hurt, but he can't fly for some reason. So we're just trying to help him along before he can fly and leave. So I've ordered some mealworms to feed him in the meantime before he can leave, and I'm hoping he doesn't get the idea of staying here because of that. But I wouldn't. I don't want to watch him just die because he can't leave. He's just literally stuck. He's sitting in our greenhouse and he just doesn't want to fly away right now. We've not been feeding him really yet, but I would just feel bad if we just let an animal die. I don't know about you guys, but that would make me feel sad. But again, I know people really don't like pigeons. So I don't know if you guys would say, why are you doing that? Don't feed that pigeon. Brr. It's a little bit annoying. I mean, it's kind of the shape I'm looking for. I just want it to be wider at the base, I think. I wonder if I could just, yeah, do that. Do that. There you go. Might not need this one now, or if we do, pull up to about here. See, it looks like it turns the other way. Not the other way, but it looks like it does like more like. The wider it looks like it gets thinner. 2, it looks like it comes up from here. Does it look? Yeah. How do I replicate that? Like it comes up, rotates. Like that. Same right here. Comes up. It's changed. Wait, what is my title? My OBS changed me, but we're back. Oh wait, you're on Twitch. Right, alright. My OBS trolled me, but we're back. I don't know, I think it's just fine like this actually. I would just texture it to look right. Yeah, like that. Did it need to be so far back? Whoa. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. No, we just need horns, which they can be a separate mesh, and eyes, which also could be a separate mesh. See, that doesn't match up with this, but it's mirrored, so... Oh wait, I need to do the back of it as well. Ew, that's annoying. I should have done that part first before I subdivided. We need it probably about here, which would be bigger for here. Again, I don't really know how to make that match up with there because it's just offset, but I think that might just be a drawing thing I can't resolve. Oh, so that's how he looks, right? Grab the back of him. Yeah. Be there. Probably just those two, right? Oh, those 4, should I say. I have to be a bit more like... Yeah. Oh, right, I'm on normal still. Let's see, why is it doing that? Flatten it. Bring the head forward a little bit. Widen it. Oh, I need clip it on. Uh-oh. Probably should have clipping on first. Clip it. Oh, it's because it's got a face in there. Bring out this bottom part, presumably. I look at the back. Up. Once. Oh, right. And then we want to grab the whole thing and just start scaling it and position right place. Pull them over a little bit to make it a bit more aligned on the actual wall. Wow. Unclip that. But yeah, Yellow Jackets was a really fun show. Basically about, I don't know why I keep saying fun. Fun is not the way to describe that show, but basically it was about a plane crash. A bunch of people get stranded somewhere, and this isn't really a spoiler because it kind of happens literally in the first episode, but they start getting to the point of desperation when they start cannibalizing each other, and it's kind of the journey of how that started happening, but it's also the journey of them 25 years later. and showing where they are now and what they're doing now and how they've like adjusted themselves into society after everything that happened. Easiest way to explain without spoiling anything. And it's, yeah, it was really cool. It was just like a very interesting watch that I didn't expect to enjoy. Again, I would claim I'm pretty easy to impress. Compared to video games, I'm pretty easy to impress when it comes to shows, I think. Some may disagree with that. I know some people may disagree with that for the sole reason that I don't say Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. I just don't think his story's that interesting. Whereas most of my friends, they do. And I remember my friend literally saying to me, oh yeah, but you don't like mainstream stuff, just because I said I didn't like Spider-Man. And that couldn't be further from the truth anyway. I'm a very mainstream person. I just like things that are good. If something's mainstream, it probably means it's good. Not all the time. I don't really like Fortnite, for example. I don't dislike Call of Duty, but I'd never pay £50-60 for a game, and that it rarely goes down in price. But I love all Nintendo games, and they're pretty mainstream. I love... Pizza's way too mainstream, right? Yeah. Oh, I can't eat pizza, too mainstream. It was a really weird comment from him. This is a while ago. Maybe he just said it out of a reaction. But yeah, literally, because I said I'm just not that into Spider-Man, and I was saying that No Way Home, I wouldn't consider... Most people, 10 out of 10 movie, 10 out of 10. Oh, don't want to spoil anything. I was about to spoil Psych. I won't say it, but it was like they said they loved it all this much. And I was like, do you like it this much just because it's Spider-Man? Because I wouldn't give the movie a 10 out of 10. An 8.5 maybe an 8. It was very enjoyable and I liked it, but it didn't have like amazing writing. It didn't have anything stand out amazing. It was just, even maybe a 7.5. It was just a really fun show to watch, movie to watch. And it was just a good time. But I just wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I just don't think it deserves... I don't personally think it deserves that for what it included. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but for anyone who's watched it, you probably know what I mean. And I said the same with Harry Potter, the Hogwarts game. Now, don't get me wrong. Apparently, that game's amazing. So I've not played it yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. But I was saying to people, I was like, because I have friends who are like, amazing, man, one of the best games I've ever played, amazing, one of the best games, so good. I was like, yeah, but are you only, and one of them did agree. I was like, are you only saying this because you're a Harry Potter fan? Because I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I used to not like Harry Potter. I'm kind of on the fence now. I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's good. I'm just kind of like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's a fine series. It has magic in it. The visual effects are usually pretty cool. I don't care much about Harry. I don't think he's that too interesting of a character. The twist at the end was all right, but I feel like it was pretty, I don't know. It wasn't the biggest twist. It wasn't that interesting, in my opinion. And again, you could say, oh, you're against mainstream, that's why you dislike it. But I love The Lord of the Rings. For example, I think Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece in writing, in visuals, in not character development. I think they've got decent character development, but like they're already quite developed characters, so it's hard to fully develop a character who's already developed because they're all adults and everything, right? That's why you see a lot of development in younger characters in shows. That's not fully true, but it's usually easier to do that. But like... Yeah, I love Lord of the Rings, so you can't say it's not mainstream. But yeah, when talking about the game Hogwarts Legacy, I was like, now most people said, no, it's just a really good game. And by the reviews, I think it is a really, really good game from what I can tell. Again, I can't hold an opinion on it right now because I've not played it. But if it ever goes on a really good offer, I might buy it because the way people described it is it's Dark Souls of Magic. And I was like, that sounds really good. That sounds like a sell for me. I don't care if it's about Harry Potter. That's going to be wasted on me when it comes to being part of that universe. But the fact that I can throw spells and stuff like that, app gets repetitive. Or it gets repetitive. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So you're the first person who I think I've heard who've played it who's given anything of a negative opinion on it. So that's interesting. But one of my friends did legitimately say, he went, no, you're right. Like, I wouldn't think it's as good if I wasn't into Harry Potter. Because when I ask somebody about a game, I want them to tell me how good it is through just the game. If a Lord of the Rings game came out, my judgment would not be on the fact that it's Lord of the Rings. I would completely solely rate the game depending on how good of a game it was, right? I'm not going to judge it differently. Or at least I'm going to try not to. I say try not to. I just don't. I just don't judge games depending on if they're connected to another part of the universe. That's always lost to me. It just doesn't bother me that much. And a big part of that might just be because I'm not super into anything. I really like Lord of the Rings, but I'm not like going on forums and writing posts on how much I love it. I'm not going and getting merch on it, even though I actually do have something on it, but that's just because I bought it. Where is it? Oh, I don't know where it is. I have a little plaque, but that's only because I saw it at Car Boot for like a £5. I didn't like go out of my way to get merch for Lord of the Rings, right? I've never been that into anything. So that's probably a big reason for it. But when I judge something, I judge it for its media. I don't judge it for the fact it's connected to anything. It's like people buying Prime right now, right? The energy drink because of Logan Paul and KSI. I would never buy something just because it was endorsed by or made by a celebrity I liked. If Henry Cavill, I think Henry Cavill seems like a really great guy. Was like, Henry Cavill chocolate bar. I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll buy it once to give it a try, but my judgment on it's not going to be because I like Henry Cavill. I'm not going to go, I love Henry Cavill. I'm just going to go, that's tasty, or it's okay. You know, I'm going to judge it solely on what it is. And I'm the same way with video games. And that's why, yeah, when I ask people for their opinion, I want them to give me a unbiased opinion on the game. So when someone says to me they like something, I need to mirror first. They like something and it's a genre. Like if I know my friends really like Harry Potter, most of my friends really like it. I've got a handful of friends who could not care less about Harry Potter, but I'd say most of my friends really like Harry Potter, and I know that they're going to judge something. They're going to judge the game very heavily on the fact that they like the series, right? So when I ask them for their opinion on it, I want them to give me a solid opinion on, and not just a biased opinion because they like the series. Maybe that sounds like really heavy requirement. Like, Steve, you're asking way too much, but like, I'm not going to go out my way and buy a game just because they really like it for a reason that's not even the game, right? And I've seen that a lot. Like, no one can deny Cyberpunk came out in a really bad state. I've not played it, but that's a very obvious thing. When it was first released, people weren't that into it, but you could tell there were some people saying that they loved it just because they wanted to feel like they spent their money correctly. Like they didn't want to admit that they had wasted their money on a game that released in a really bad state. Now, it got to a good state from what I've been made aware of, and apparently it is quite a fun game now. But I feel like there was a little bit of copium when it came to that game. Again, I'm saying quite that's what I'm looking for. I'm saying risky things right now that people can get mad at me for. But I mean, take some of what I'm saying with a pinch of salt anyway. Like I'm not being completely serious. Like I do believe that some people will buy something and try to justify its worth because it costs a lot of money. That's a thing people have done since they could buy something. Like, I'm the opposite. When I buy something, I try to justify refunding it because I don't want to buy something that's considered like this is excellent condition, which basically means mint. When I notice something that looks like a flaw, like right here, that looks like the screen went on. There looks like there's like I said at the start of the stream, there looks like there's a little dent there, or it's like the glass is slightly warping the reflection. And I'm like, oh, is that a bad thing? Is that like that spot got heated up or something? Like, is it damaged in some sort of way? The screen looks perfectly fine, so maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just overlooking it. But I'm the opposite. If I spend a lot of money on something, I look for flaws more. It's like super cheap. I usually won't look for flaws because I'm in my mind. I'm just like, it costs £3. I don't really care. When it's like, it costs me £350, I'm a little bit more critical. Whereas some people do the opposite and they're less critical because they want to feel justified for their spending. I don't know why this stream has turned into like psychology all of a sudden, but you get what I mean, right? We've all seen someone. I've probably done it loads in the past. We've all seen someone spend money on something, and even maybe have been someone who has done that and then tried to justify that spending was, well, justified. Someone's going to message me like, Steve, I feel really personally attacked by your comments. Should I give it a neck, or should I or give it an indent on the neck, or just bulge it out? Oh. Wait, it's mirrored, isn't it? I need to click this side. Here. Here. Let's give it some horns. Again, we're going to select one to just make it easier, and we're going to pull it out. I don't know where the horns are. But way further back than that. It's fine. It's like basically just above the ears, like here. We're going to make it so it goes through the skull. Oh, I should have really made this square. Can I kind of make it square now? That's fine. So grab that, pull it down, get it into the spot it's supposed to be. So it's, yeah, it's basically, I don't know if it comes straight up, but it's basically like right here, right? But more of an angle, dips into there. It looks like it's like in between that crevice almost. I mean, it's got like a line around it, so I could give it a bottom to it, and then you'd get a black line, but I don't think that'd look right in 3D, so we're not going to do that. Why is that really facing me? Do you see that? Oh, it's because of where I got it from, wasn't it? So we want this to be a bit more flat. Let's just actually make it flat for now, because it'll make it a bit easier to determine where it needs to be. I'll pull that up to here. Cool. Now we need to grab here and here. We basically need two. I see it's kind of the wrong shape. It's not very... Yeah, I've kind of messed this up. I should have got a square, very square shape to begin with. I should have grabbed this. Yeah, we're going to redo it. Because I don't really... It might lend itself to looking more natural. I'm not sure. Being not very straight. But I like keeping it straight when I first do it. The reason I wanted to copy it from the actual surface is because I already had the modifier set up. So it's kind of about speed more than anything. If we just poke this into the surface here. Actually, we'll rotate it to the direction it needs to go and then poke it out like this. There's something I really don't understand recently. This is going to be controversial. Or kind of. It's how people will watch like a TikTok or something. And then completely believe what that TikTok or person is saying. And now, I definitely used to be like that back when I was younger and much, much easier to influence. 100%. But now that I'm older, that does not happen as often at all. But I still know quite a lot of people that, well, not quite a lot, sorry. I still know a handful of people that would still be very influenced by that. Like, they could show me a TikTok or something of someone talking about a certain topic with zero evidence on the thing that that person is talking about. And then they'll reply maybe like, look, see? And I'm just like, see what? You've sent me a TikTok. An uncredible source. They've not put any sources in their description to even prove this is fake or true. Like, I'm just like, you can't be serious. As we probably all know when it comes to me, I'm a person who likes a decent debate. No, I like to actually have a debate and not way too dry, no sauce. Exactly. I love you. I always write sauce that way, S-A-U-C-E, because I forget, because I see it wrote that many times, because I forget it's actually spelled S-O-U-R-C-E, because that's just a funny way to spell it, because like your comment, way too dry, no sauce. It's just like baffling to me. As I was saying, like, as anyone who knows me knows I like a good debate. I get kind of bored these days when somebody, you kind of saw it a little bit. If you read the chat with somebody in my chat, he gave an example that, in my opinion, didn't at all reflect the conversation, and I basically just went, I'm going to give up, because at the end of the day, I don't want to have a debate with someone who doesn't want to debate. If you say to someone, oh, I think apples are quite tasty, and they say, no, I think oranges are better. I'm just like, why are you bringing up oranges? That's not part, like, that's like it's extending the conversation past something that you even tried to talk about, right? I'm talking about apples. Your comment should have been, no, I don't really like apples. I think they're too bitter, for example. You're keeping it on subject. When someone diverts from that subject area, I kind of lose interest, because the conversation isn't going to go anywhere, because they're not trying to converse about the original topic. Does that make sense? Like, and that's kind of what I did today when someone wrote something. I was like, well, this doesn't feel like it's at all to do with what we're talking about. It looks like it is, but it's kind of just not. But I misunderstood what he was saying anyway, and he was saying something fine. I just jumped the gun a little bit because I don't like conversing with people who, or I don't like continuing a conversation where I don't feel like there's much substance to it. Looks pretty good. It's a bit harsh back here. I'm not fully sure why, because it's got enough geometry to smooth that. The neck looks very interesting. The way that it like gives him a little neck bit here. I mean, what does a neck of a deer look like? It's kind of just smooth, right? Like, I mean, that looks kind of cool. Having that bulge, like here. I kind of like that, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, I like debates. I like having conversations about things. I'm not that into arguments. Even though people probably will... I know people who probably say that, no, you love arguments, Steve. You're very argumentative. No. I like to debate. I exaggerate points all the time, right? Like, I think giving someone a penny is terrible because they're gonna then be a part of this thing, this greedy thing we call money. And I say, oh, I think giving someone food is terrible because, you know, they can stay alive. You know, I'll exaggerate a point where it's like, it's to do with the same topic, but it's like, it's an exaggerated point to prove the point to prove my point, right? They sometimes don't have their place, but they do help. They do help justify a certain point you're trying to make, depending on what you're actually trying to say. If I grab the side here, I have. I want to do that. The bottom, I think that looks better. Okay, he's looking pretty good. The problem is like you can subdivide this once, like get the actual subdivide. I'd actually reduce the subdivision on this, preferably when I'm done. Like I'll optimize it a bit better. But I feel like this part would need to come in. And if you did do another smooth, you could have something more like that. But for now, we'll just keep it subdivided like this, because it's a nice general shape. The eyeballs, I'm actually going to do as physical meshes instead of textures, because I think that would look better. Just literally like that, except we'll place them in the right areas. I mean, to be fully honest, I just like talking. I love having conversations with people. I'm a very, very big conversationalist. I just like conversing. I like hearing people's opinions. I like having debates. I like just knowing what people think. I think it's really interesting. I think everyone's really interesting. And I think everyone has a good point that they can share. Whether or not you agree with what they have to say is completely up to what your opinion is and up to the subject matter that you're trying to talk about. But learning about people is awesome. I remember one time someone was talking to me about photography, and they were talking to me about all the different things about it. They weren't talking to me about technical specifics like cameras and lenses and stuff like that, which I'd also like to learn about. And because I think that's interesting. I think everything's interesting. I think this is why I don't have any passion for one particular thing, because I'm kind of just interested in everything. I think the whole world is filled with interesting things and people. And I love hearing people talk about their passions. I think it's so cool hearing someone talk about something they're passionate about in a way that makes you feel passionate about it. Now, not everyone feels that way. Some people just listen to people talk about their passions because they feel like it's the nice thing to do. If your passion was knitting, I would sit there for hours listening to you talk about it. If you're good at talking about it, I will be interested in it. This person was talking to me about photography, and I'm literally an artist. So of course, I'm going to be interested in photography by default anyway. And after talking about it for maybe like 10 minutes, she literally I'm revealing too much information. This person, I mean, I've kind of ruined it now. This person basically accused me of only pretending to be interested. And I was just like, no, I find this interesting. And she just didn't believe me. They just didn't believe me. And I was just like, this person kind of felt insulted that I was pretending to be interested and I wasn't basically being truthful that I wasn't. And I was just like, I don't know how to tell you that I am actually interested in this. Am I the only one here? There are people on Twitch, well, 2 people on Twitch talking as well, but you are the only one who's typed in YouTube, my friend. Mixed mix. I talk about random subjects today. I'm still doing my 3D, as you can see, by the environment. So this is the actual concept, if we hide everything. This is the concept. I'm basically using that to just model on top of, which is a very pretty common way to do it. Even if you're a concept artist, You might do it. You might draw, or you might do the reverse, right? Concept artists will sometimes model and then draw over the top. So yeah, it's the same sort of scenarios. His eyeballs sticking out his head at the moment, but yeah, we're just modeling all of this. But I'm also talking about random topics, and I'm talking about how I find people interesting, and how this world is filled with interesting people. And it surprises me that people don't find interest in other people's interests. Like, I just find everything interesting. If anyone wants to talk about anything, you want to talk about bugs and insects and how you think that beetles are going to rule the world, then if you're good at talking about it, that might be an interesting subject. I am from the UK, from England to be specific. I don't know if my accent sounds British. Every American I meet says I sound Australian, British, or Scottish, which I always find interesting. I'm just waffling on now, but I find it interesting that some people will say, oh, you either sound British or Scottish, and I'm like, well, Scotland is in Britain. The Scots are Brits. They're British. I'm like, do you mean English? Like, I sound either English or Scottish? Because that makes more sense, because England and Scotland are both in Britain. Same with Wales, same with Northern Ireland. Oh, no, not same with Northern Ireland. That's part of the UK. Sorry. It is a little confusing, I'm not going to lie. But I find it interesting that Scottish people tend to be called Scottish, while English people tend to be called British. I think that's quite interesting. And if you want a more accurate British accent, I should say... Wait, why? Do you see this? There is 18 quintillion triangles in this scene, apparently. What? That is clearly bugged out. Hold up. What? If I hide everything, does it still say that? No, something's causing that to come up then. Wait. Why is the new asset I just made saying... Oh, wait, it's not just that. Hold on a minute. Oh, no, that's broken. God save the king? I mean, yeah, I guess that's what you need to be saying now. You know what? That's really interesting. I wonder how many people in the UK... probably shouldn't be saying this, but I wonder how many people in the UK actually really... Because, no, don't get me wrong. I want to say this at the start. It's not like I was happy, you know, of the passing, but it's just like something that didn't really affect my life, right? I've never been someone who's affected or really put much interest in the royal family, and most people I seem to know similar way. So I wonder actually how many people were, you know, devastated by the news and, you know, stuff like that. Because I remember my brother saying his American friend, like, apologized, like, oh, I'm so sorry for what happened. And he was like, what? He's like, oh, you know, about your queen. He's like... I think he didn't even know at the time. He was like, what about the queen? Like, is this the lack of interest, right? Because, like, it's not the same. Being interested in the royal family isn't the same as being interested in, for example, in America, being interested in the president. That's like us more being interested in the prime minister. Because the prime minister is the one who tends to run the government, like, what the government wants and says. Whereas the queen is just the royal family. And she does have final say in certain things. Or the king now. Yeah, I've just never really had an interest, so like, what percentage of British people watched the royal, what was it called? Like the Queen's funeral? More than 29 million people in the UK watched Queen's funeral. And what's the population? I like how the topics changed around me to this because you said God save the king. Oh, I wrote Queen's population. UK. Yeah, UK. It said UK population. 67 million. So some things here say 37.5 and no one says 28 million. So let's say that's around 50% of the country watched the funeral. Now, I think there is 2 people out of everyone I know, because it's hard for me to obviously get a better specific, a better statistic of this, but from my own personal experience, I'm pretty sure only 2 people that I know watched it. And that's maybe 20 to 25 people. So in my scenario, maybe 10% of people. All my close friends didn't. So But then again, there's something I say a lot about this country. There's a lot of statistics where I'm like, wow, really? Like, how percentage of the UK that... Oh, you know what? We'll get England. Percentage of England that is Catholic. Wow, only 8.3. Hold on a minute. What about Christian? Oh, okay. So it claims that 46% of England are Christian. Now, I want to know where that statistic comes from. I'm usually doing art projects. I sometimes do games. I'm just chatting today for some reason about random topics. I do that a lot as well, to be fair. If you haven't seen any of my past work, let's whip up the art station. It's usually at the bottom left, but for some reason it's not there, so I want to show you. We actually have some projects on the go that I've kind of been ignoring. We'll get it all. Right, make real-time environments is something you'd see, something you could play in a video game. I have this scene, for example, in Unreal, and you could fly around it. No, it's not the whole house, unfortunately, because I got too lazy and didn't finish it. But yeah, I just make 3D environments because I enjoy doing it. I do it full time. This is just what I do on the weekends. For some reason, I made this. This was an example. We were on stream, and I was teaching people that a really good practice is to grab something off your desk and just model that. And then for some reason, I decided to do the whole of it, and I UV mapped it, and I textured it, and I rendered it out. Again, in Unreal Engine, so this will be a prop you'd see in a video game. It might be a little too detailed to be a prop, but it could be a prop nonetheless. In fact, it's got a low poly on it. This bit here is just bait from a high poly. The cannon was really fun. Probably my favorite prop I've ever made. And then we got some other environments. I think people tend to say this one's their favorite. So this one's their favorite, which is like a stationary one angle scene, which again is all in the Unreal Engine. I'm not going to repeat that anymore. Everything you see is in the Unreal Engine or in real-time rendering. Yes, as before. It's just got like a train that comes in. I skipped it. Completely made by me, or animated by me. Concept from somebody else, because I'm terrible at coming up with concepts, but there you go. I work at a company called... See, they say I'm not allowed to share where I work, but if you literally look at me online, it will say. So I work for Psycho Hound, a very, very small indie company. Very small. Literally 2 artists, me and one other guy. And yeah, we're working on games at the moment. I can't really go into any more details than that because I'm not allowed. I would like to ask them if we can actually start sharing stuff on ArtStation because I'd like to show it off to people, but I think it's completely under NDA and I would never be allowed to, so I'd have to see if they ever let me do that. Because there's some environments I made on that were really fun. And then, yeah, this was the other environment I made. Well, I made a couple more than this, but this is probably the... Well, no, I've made one more stylized before this. The biggest stylized one. Obviously just skipping through it so you don't have to watch it all. First time using Lumen, which is very annoying to work with, I'm not going to lie. Lumen has so many caveats that are very frustrating. What do you do, Mixed Mix? Let's get you in the therapy chair and learn a bit more about you. We'll start the university this year. Oh wow, nice. Are you a programmer or are you a artist? Because I swear that everybody just seems to be a programmer, which I find interesting because I would have thought in school more people would have wanted to be artists. I don't know why. I mean, I'm an artist, and maybe it's just because I thought that because I found it more interesting. But I don't know. I thought people, like, to me, saying you wanted to be a programmer instead of an artist is kind of like saying you wanted to be a dentist over a fireman, you know? Like, as kids, one sounds... Hello, hot dog at It's Log. One sounds significantly, as a kid anyway, much more interesting. But that wasn't the case with games. People just... Everyone who wanted to make a game wanted to be a programmer. Now, other people may share a different experience, obviously, but that's just how it went for me. Wow, you can make it pitch black? Jesus. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, what brings you here then? Did I pop up? People keep saying I just clicked on that stream randomly. People keep saying that, like, oh yeah, you just randomly came up. I'm like, someone making 3D game art randomly popped up. That's interesting. Hey, Dennis. I find it really funny. I'm just like, well, hello, person who is here despite probably shouldn't have been recommended to be here. I'm glad. If I can give you some form of entertainment, I think that's awesome. One. I did say that correctly. That's good. Yeah. I got to break free. Make that a little bit wider, and if we slightly tilt it towards us, just like that, we'll slot it into his head. So I could do this and make it like have a flatter back, but I think this is fine. I think I'll just pull it back like this. I mean, if we wanted to curve completely back, we could do this. I think having that slight roundness to it looks a bit better. I like when you have buttons for eyes on something. I think that looks really derpy from the front. Oh, what's happening over here? We still got mirror on? We do. There you go. It looks too pointy. Pointy dointy. How would we resolve that? Getting rid of this one? Maybe doing a soften on it in general. Didn't really help. I like the stream. Thank you very, very much. I think it just needs to be pulled in, right? And it will give you like a little curve to it. Yeah, that's nicer. Ooh, yeah, that's way nicer. Very small adjustment, but it makes it look a lot less like square at the corner. You can still kind of see a bit of squareness there, but it's pretty good. Cool. He needs to be properly set on here, so let's get into the wireframe. So he's significantly smaller than what we got him. So I did him a little bit off stream. I was going to do the moose off stream as well. I just got lazy. Work's been hounding me. So I've just not had the motivation to stream and do stuff off stream. Yeah, I mean, if any of you are here to actually, you know, learn some 3D modeling, if you have any questions, I'm not the greatest in the world, not even close to it. I'm not even considered, in my opinion, not even considered a great 3D artist. But I try my best and I know how to do a lot of stuff. So if you guys do have any questions and you're learning, just ask and I'll try my best to help you guys out. That's why I stream, mostly. It's just if anyone wants help learning the ropes, I'm completely willing to just give you guys any info you need. Something in university I thought was very, very weird. Also, good luck with university, by the way, man. Mixed. I really enjoyed my time. Well, mostly enjoyed my time at university. First year, I kind of got treated poorly by my housemates. I didn't fully enjoy first year very much, but I know I'm in the minority of that, and I hope you have a really, really good time. Oh, wait, is that central? That is central. Okay, so it looks like it's behind him then, right? It looks like it's like in the picture. If we were to actually get the picture up, which would be a bit easier. My desktop's a little messy at the moment. Nope. 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 Where is it? I rarely name things. I just drag them onto my desktop really quickly. Oh no, this one should have a proper name. Yeah, there it is, because I got it from an actual source. Yeah, look, it's almost like it's at the back. Like this isn't even attached to the fish. You know what I mean? Like it's almost. So I haven't got the shape of it yet, right? But it's almost like this body here needs to be. With maybe something like that. I've not got the shape quite right yet, but yeah, it almost looks like it's just slapped onto the back like this. That one. No, that one. Obviously, that's too far. There you go. Like that. But I'm not sure if I like that. I kind of want it to stay on top because it makes more sense on the fish. If anyone's not looking at the stream, Mix just asked, is anyone here not into IT? Is anyone here in the same boat as him, just sort of somehow found the stream and is just chilling? Because I'm kind of interested in that as well. That's cool. So I think if we want to make it still be in the center of the fish, but still look right, I think I just need to make the fish a little bit thicker, like so. That's still in the center, but if we were to do something more like this, make the fish a bit flatter in the middle, it would look like it's a bit more... I don't want to make the fish flatter though. It looks nicer like that. Okay, you don't always have to fully follow your reference if what you're making just could look better. I think I'm going to do all this on the texture just because I've not really designed it to have this part come out. I could go about like getting like a gill in and shape it a bit more accurately. People are just entering and leaving. Oh, well, I should have read the whole thing just then. I think your stream just appears in recommendations. I recommend people are entering and leaving. Yeah, maybe. Which is, like, I never had people say that though, like years ago, because I've been streaming for like what, 3 years now. It's only very recently people have been coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, I just randomly got recommended." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well that's cool." I think I don't know if Mega Coolman would say he's not. The Mega Coolman's in Twitch chat. He's not really said anything for a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think he'd consider himself. Oh, he might consider himself into IT actually. I say he wouldn't consider himself an artist. I don't believe so. Oh, I need to actually help him with something. I mean, very negligent. There you go. On 3D at the moment. Working full time doing it has been really making me not want to do it in my spare time. Even though I said that will never happen and I will always do it. It's kind of... I've kind of not kept with that. So I'm a little disappointed in myself for that. Because I promised myself that I would always do 3D. Probably keep it like that, right? It should kind of come over here. Weirdly enough, this is an interesting tidbit. I got my current job, through me streaming. My boss saw my stream, thought I seemed like a cool guy, and basically just offered me a job after we talked on whatever thing we used. Like, I think it was probably just Discord. That was super cool. The fact that I got a job through my streaming, that's awesome. And in a way, it made it feel like it was worth something. I mean, it feels worth something anyway, because I just get to talk to you guys and I get to, you know, try to entertain and teach people. Again, that's the biggest part why we're here. I'm trying to teach people. But to also know that my current job I got because my boss saw my channel, I think that's so cool. You guys been playing anything new at the moment? I've actually been playing Hunt Showdown a decent amount. Hunt Showdown, the two main games right now, weirdly enough, are Hunt Showdown and Getting Over It. Oh no. Oh, I don't like football. Well, yeah, I don't like football is probably the better way to put it. I wouldn't say I hate football, but I'm not really into football. I'm not a sports guy, but if I was a sports guy, I'd probably be more into basketball. I'm sorry to disappoint. Oh, I'm not selecting the right mesh. I was like, what's going on? Wait. Wait. Oh no, that's fine. We'll make it a bit thicker. Grab. Go down. Grab the wall. Grab this. No way, I thought everyone in the UK supports. You know what? Out of most computer people I know, they don't seem to support football teams very much. Out of all the people so I've had a total of, with people coming and going, I've had probably 20 people at my company, maybe more, 25. And only one of them I can recall talking about football. None of my close friends are into football, I think. It's going through my head now. No, I don't think any of my close friends are into football. There might be one who'd go to a football match if their friends went to a football match, but I don't necessarily think that person's into football. I wonder how many people... You know what? I wonder if there's a statistic on that. How many English people don't support a football team? Uh, 42% of young people in the UK don't support just one team. Nah, that's not really specific. I want. Don't like football. Are there people? Quora. Are there people in England who don't watch football? Yes. There are people in England who don't watch. What kind of question is that? No. Everybody does a ritual every Sunday before watching the footy. It's a tradition born in blood, and nobody's allowed to not watch football. You know, there's going to be some people who don't watch football. Oh, is that actually true? Half of British people don't watch football. Seeing if there's any better specifics. I can statistics. See, I'm English, but I suck at England. I'm English, but I suck at English, is what I meant to say. Wait, so there's footballers who don't even like football. That's interesting. I guess if you do it enough, because surely to get into football, Maybe it is 20%. I feel like to get into football, you're gonna like it, right? At least there's gonna be very, very, very few examples of not, because you wouldn't dedicate so much of your life to get into it unless I guess maybe your parents forced you. But I feel like if you do it day by day, you just learn to hate it because it's just too much. It's like a lot of interest, right? A lot of people lose interest in something because they do it long enough. Like streaming and YouTube, for example, a lot of people fall out of love after like a decade of doing it. People can hate football. These sentences just sound really weird. No. People can hate football. You're weird, but people can hate. Oh wait, I like how NHL came up. So American football. Okay, so wait, this is posted in 19. What? That's an old article coming up at the top. Jesus. 1995. I was born a year before that. That was 27 years ago. Well, 28. April. Wait, I feel like the maths is wrong. Oh my god. What percentage of English people don't watch football? I spelled that very wrong. During episode 217 UK, 11% of respondents stated that they watch the sport. They watch professional football matches. How often? Wait. More than half of British watch sports despite having... What? Having no idea what's going on. Nice. That's weird to me, because, like, why would you watch sports if you have no idea what's going on if there's so much other media you can watch, right? You can go watch Netflix, YouTube, well, not just Netflix, but Amazon Prime, but just TV in general, movies, and they're all on demand, right? You don't need to go to the cinema these days. You can just watch everything in the convenience of your own home. So it's interesting that people will choose to watch sports that they don't have anything going, that they don't know what's going on, instead of watching anything else. Oh, okay. Frequently, 45% are into football. Also, hello, Floopy Doopy. What a great name. 45% are into football. 2003. Surely that number's lower these days because of the reasoning I just said, where there's so much other media you can watch. Not much, man. I'm talking about football at the moment. Any reason to not do 3D modeling, and I'll take it. We are actually 3D modeling. Making a fish on a wall at the moment, trying to follow a reference that we got. I feel like YouTube feels sorry for me randomly, and it will just go, here you go, guys, here's a recommendation for this guy's channel. Because people will just like appear out of nowhere, like out the woodworks. I'm glad you're here, obviously, but I just find it humorous. I'm subbed. Oh, well, now I feel mean. I thought you also appeared out now. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're here. It looks weird. If you want to see the scene, here you go. I'll show you something I actually did to it, because I'm making a shader. So that looks right from here, which, to be fair, I'm probably going to do one of those angled shots where the camera kind of like does that thing, right? Like does a slight movement to left and right, and that's all the video is going to be. Just like from here, it goes pans really slowly, and then pans really slowly back, and then maybe some lighting changing. Just like something really like subtle, I think. I think that'd be the best way to sell this scene. Oh, whoops, I meant to copy the entire thing. Yeah. That doesn't look right. What does it look like in the... Yeah, it definitely looks like it comes down way more. Sure, it looks wrong from this angle, but it looks right from up here. I'll show you guys a shader I made, because I threw the scene in. So I was making this shader that looks drawn, called the Mobius shader. I can't remember. Mobius. It sounds like, what's his name from Matrix? Morpheus. Morpheus? I just talk nonsense on my streams, honestly. Like, I don't know. I'm here because I get bored too. So I'm just sort of saying things. So I went with, maybe I should have aligned it with what the floor actually looks like. Because the floor is planked, right? Then maybe I should have made my planks align with what the concept looks like. I might do that actually. Although this one looks super thick, where it doesn't really make sense. Although they all look pretty thick, right? Yeah, so I might redo the floorboards. But I do kind of want like the hanging effects, because I always think that looks really cool. Really, really cool. What is... Oh, I'm on the low settings, right? Epic. Epic. Oh no, it's going to load all the shaders, isn't it? It's going to load 3,500 shaders. No. Oh, I didn't save what I did. Did I not save it when I put it in? I can show you guys the shader in a second anyway. Have I got it in here? I'll take assets, character, dreamscape, gutball, lava, level for type. Materials, sequence, spring scan, start content, stylize, water, textures per person. Oh, I also make shaders the same as textures. No. So shaders and material, like shader and material, are basically the same thing a lot of times. I don't think people tend to name those different. So I'll show you. Right. So if we set something up, what's a good example? So that's a really good example, and so is the water. Oh, it looks really weird because our shaders have it. So our shaders are compiling at the moment. I've got really... Oh, I've got examples over here. So right here. So you like see... Wow, that is very... Let's go to one that's not very... So you see this grass, right? That's on this surface. See that? Oh, look how pixelated it goes. So this has several different textures in it. It'll have a base color texture, which is determining the color. It will have a normal map, which is doing that thing that makes it look more 3D than it is. So if we actually shine a light on it, you'll see as we move that light source, and we make it not so blasting. Yeah, as we move this light source, if we move it closer, you'll see, especially like the rocky bits, you'll see they look 3D. See that? If that was off, the surface would just look smooth. And you've also got a roughness map. So if we look over here as well, you can see like that effect. And I'll load up the shader, as most people call it, or material. It's called materials in here. Look, create material, and I'll show you what that looks like. So, mine looks a bit more complex because I was showing people tutorials. So if I actually go to set one up for you right now, I can demonstrate how it would go. So you're grabbing all your textures. I've got normal map, roughness map, AO, and albedo. And these are your textures, not your materials, but your textures, right? So you'd start creating one, and we'll just go grass test. That is, I keep fat fingering letters recently. Uh-oh. Why is it taking a long time to save when I just changed the name? Come on. You're not going to force me to sit through these 3,000 shaders right now, are you? That's a little sus. So just a V-Ray material, for example, could be just the material and you can add textures through maps. Yeah, kind of. Like, I wish I could show you, but for some reason it's frozen. So let me try that again. I'm just going to close it. It's not frozen. I think it's trying to do these 3,000 shaders. Because, like, so usually people call it materials because shaders can kind of mean all the components that are being compiled. Like, I'm compiling 3,000 shaders, but there aren't 3,000 materials. So most people I think will try to say the word material, but material and shader kind of could be interchangeable in the definition. But textures are very specifically, I'm going to close that. Textures are very specifically, Jesus, the combination of your textures to create a surface, right? Basically, it's all your textures working together to make the surface. All right, let's try to load that back up. Oh God. Did you make textures in Designer? I make a lot of textures, whether by hand, by ZBrush, or by Designer, but I don't make realistic textures very often. in either of those in Designer, because there's no... So a company, unless you can make very, very, very good textures that you can't get hold of in real life, a company is going to much prefer to get a texture that is a real image, right? Like Megascans, right? If you go to Megascans, they are photo scan. Now, the problem with Megascans is you might want to make a tree that doesn't, or make a fern, for example, that doesn't look like a fern from Megascans, but you can still use a texture from a real life fern. So when it comes to making realistic textures, you will tend to just get them from Substance Source, Megascans, and basically any other library. If we go on, let's just go to Substance Source, for example. If it lets me, I don't know if you have to be signed in. All right. So if you're like, oh, I need a wood material. That's nice, but wood. Boom. I'm like, okay, what kind of wood do I want? Do they have ash? Ash wood. Perfect. We've done it. Like, there's no reason, because this is probably a photo scan material, right? And if it's not, and it was meant in Designer, it would have likely, the textures used in Designer would have probably been images. There's very, very little reason to go out of your way to make something like this in Designer when it already exists in the real world. Now, on the other hand, the best use... Now, this is all my opinion. There's probably some people out there who are literally paid to just make materials in Designer. But on the other hand, if you wanted to make, for example, Substance Designer... lava would be a good one, but let's go stylized lava. Here we go. So if you wanted to make something that doesn't exist in the real world, you could never find this in the real world. Why am I? Oh, that's Lofi. You could never find this in the real world unless someone were to model it by hand and paint it everything, and then you could take a picture of it and then use it as texture, right? So this is a very good thing to use, to put your time into, because yeah, it's just something that you can't get hold of in any other way. Now, if we actually look, we're going back to the ArtStation, boys. If we actually look at my scenes past, so this one, anything stylized basically, and then a load of assets, but I won't load up the assets because it's easier to show in the scenes. Every single thing in this scene... Computer, are you good? Jesus. Every single thing in this scene, 100% the textures were also made by me. The models are made by me, the textures were made by me, everything was made by me. The light themselves, everything was made 100% by me, because it's all stylized. I couldn't go, so don't get me wrong, you can maybe go online and find some stylized textures, but the problem with that is that you're gonna get a lot of other people downloading it, and it's gonna be very obvious that you've got it from those sources, because if someone's looked around, they'll be like, oh well, you didn't make this. When it comes to realistic textures, it's not the fact that you can get away with it, it's more the fact that it doesn't add anything to it doing it in Designer, because you could just take those pictures in real life, and that's what everyone's going to do, because it's just going to look better anyway. Well, I won't take the pictures in real life, I just got a Substance Source to get one, but you can adjust them in Substance Painter anyway to look a little bit more unique. Whereas in these cases, I need to make the textures myself, because I need to make something stylized that doesn't exist in the real world, that I can't just take. Same with this scene. Oh, is this class as a short? I didn't even realize. Same with this scene, all hand painted by me. Like I have videos on my channel. Why is it so dark all of a sudden? Oh, there you go. Videos on my channel where I literally spent the whole time doing this, so you can watch me texture everything all by hand, all in Substance Painter. And similar to this one, I generated a lot of these using Designer, using Painter, and then using high poly, stuff like that. And then the water, for example, isn't a texture per se, it's a shader that doesn't use textures, which is a little bit different. So we jump into here. So I won't load up the texture I was going to show you, like over here. I think you get that. You basically combine all your textures together to make a material. But you could also make a whole sort of material. And again, this isn't working properly because the shaders aren't compiled. The reflections look weird. It's interesting. But it's like here. So this one does, the Earth uses textures, but something like this doesn't use textures at all, right? The way that this works is it's a lot of information. Oh, apparently there is a texture for the normal map, but most of it isn't textures. It's, you go, like, look at how stylized this one looks. If I throw that one on. Wow. Yeah, this seems a little bit blasted in lighting right now, so it's kind of hard to tell. But if I go to... Oh, I can't bother to load it up. I have a lot of other scenes that show this off. If it compared to shaders, it'll probably look better. But yeah, if we actually go to the material in here, right? So if you know about Substance Designer, so you know... I made the water shader like 3 years ago-ish. And if we open this up... Well, actually, I've updated it like 3-4 months ago. But yeah, open this up. We basically tell it a lot of information that causes this effect to happen, right? I tell it to pick up information for the... Oh, and where, sorry. Wait, where as in like what I'm showing you now? Or as in I made it in Unreal Engine, because that's what I got open right now. Because yeah, yeah, and it's telling it to different things to give us this give us this at the end. It's in Unreal Engine, in this software that here, look, in Unreal Engine. That's where I made it. I went into here, I added nodes in. And I was like, oh, I want a color node. I want to connect it up to a multiply. Then connect that up to a lerp. And then do all my stuff. Like, basically, I did all of that, and then I made all this. Yeah. Unity will have a similar looking setup from what I've been made aware of. Because I've never really used Unity. But, yeah. And I find that really fun. Like, and I was going to show you guys a... Whoa, why did the sky get green for a second? What happened? Whoa, what is happening with... I guess with the shaders they built, we'll probably be fine. Hopefully I can show this while it's compiling. Oh, we can. Cool. So I was making this shader, which is why the lighting's kind of wacky right now. What the... which is a... basic, like it's supposed to kind of look drawn. If you and you can obviously move lights and stuff around. And if we go into the material, oh, it's processing. Oh my god, I can't find it. Blend. I should, if I remember how I set it up, be able to diff lines, boundaries, one. Way, because that's taking up the color. So if the surface of that item is a color, it will paint it that color basically, right? But I could take that away and just use a 2-tone or 3-tone system. But I don't know why it's not working. Oh, if I click apply, the shaders are gonna... Hopefully that won't make the shaders take a long time. Oh, there you go. So now I should be able to go into the shader. This, and if I tick this button on or off, we can enable color and disable color. If we disable color, I've set it up so I have these two colors here. I can determine what our black lines become. If we want our black lines to not be black and be like a, you know, very obvious red or something, we can. And I've got, like, if I made this pure white, it'll actually look like this. But I tinted it a little bit to give it like a color, old paper effect. So I can either turn it into a two-tone scene, or I can use the color of the base of the surfaces to color it that way. And that's also another type of shader, but it's a post-processing shader. The reflections work in a really interesting way. Yeah, and what I was doing the other day was I was taking this entire scene. I accidentally loaded Psychos up. Save what I got so far, and I was importing all of this and using that shader because I thought it looked pretty cool. I also usually have a beard just to the people aren't shocked in 2 weeks when they see me bearded. Because it doesn't take very long. Do shaders exist in any games? No, they don't exist in anything. Like if you go to Blender, the shader looks like... Are they called shading? It's literally called shading. When you get to here... Oh, cool. You have basically a similar looking thing here. We can set everything up. Now, I have no idea how to use blenders, but yeah, like you can add input. Bevel, I don't know. You go texture, brick texture, character texture, environment texture, image texture. So if I wanted to put like a texture on this, for example, I can then, oh, look at that. I can then set it up in here. So no, shaders are universal. They use it in everything. You can get away without kind of touching shaders, because if you just throw textures onto things, but even if throwing a texture onto something will basically generate a shader. Even if there's no way for you to directly get to it, it will still be a shader. If that makes sense. Who's messaging me? Alright, so did the object come in? Yay, there it is. Oh my god, it's tiny. Make it 5 times the scale? Yeah, looks good. Actually, 10 times. There you go. Boom. We have like a weird... Let's do it this way so we can actually not look at the actual other part of the scene. We have a weird shader that kind of makes it look sketched. It doesn't actually. I mean, I feel like if someone was like, you know, if I take a picture of this, it's not going to trick anyone into actually thinking it's a drawing, right? Which is not supposed to. It's supposed to just be an effect. If I do this, we can have this really cool shader. And this can work in a video game, right? If I had this shader on in a video game... Oh, that's got inverted normals. Nice. But if I had this shader in a video game, the whole game would now look like this. Yeah, and which would just kind of be pretty cool. And it works. It doesn't just need a directional light, right? I could always put in another light source, like if I wanted, if that, well, for example, this has a light on it. If I put this, I'll put it just outside of it, because otherwise it's going to collide. And I put this like 50, you can see it's going to light that area. Like there you go. And if I were to move that, you can obviously see it move. Ooh. Yeah, very fun stuff. How did you learn to be better at texturing? Just self-taught. As much as I want to be like, oh, if you get a good teacher, it'd probably be really helpful. But YouTube mainly, and practicing and just learning it myself. My whole YouTube channel is kind of dedicated to teach people how to do stuff like this. This is a little bit more complex, but it's just learning how. It's breaking apart the simplicity of something and then learning how you can implement that in a way that's more complex. So if I wanted to create something that was simple, like for example with this shader, what it's doing is it's taking the scene color, or the scene, well, yeah, scene color, I guess, or the scene rendering. So it's taking basically, here's the post-processing. And yeah, a big part is just like learning how to implement things together. So it's taking this information, that you see right now, it's taken this information. I've told it to take that information and then separate it out into 3 separate color channels. And then in those color channels, I tell it to either be white, either be a light gray, or either be a dark gray. And then on top of that, I applied a texture on top that basically says, in the dark gray areas, do a crosshatch effect. And in the light gray areas, if we have any, here, do a single line. And because of the lines, extra lines, it appears and makes it look darker. Now, technically, it is darker as well because I've got some additional color on that. But yeah, and that's... learning how to put that together is not that difficult. If we look at it, it probably looks a bit complex. So this is the outline part. We don't need to do that. That I looked on YouTube for, pretty much. So yeah, look, I've got this on a wider line. I've got this on a wider line, this on a wider line. And they basically work together. So this one's not actually doing anything. I don't think I see a diagonal one. They basically work together to overlay in the 3-color blend. 3-color blend is what's separating it out to 3 different forms. So we've got our black, we got our, well, we got a white, sorry, we got our grey, and we got our dark grey, which is being represented by these, and then additional darkness added to them. And I can't just say, boom, look, it's easy to do, right? You have to learn all these one step at a time. You have to learn how to make borderline textures, which is this part. You have to learn what multiplies are, what 1 minuses are, and then you have to learn how to take that information, and I'm subtracting values from it to make that part of the surface darker. I'm then adding that all later on into a lerp that allows me to color those 2 areas. So now it takes the dark tones and it takes the light tones, and it allows me, as I showed you a second ago, it allows me to, I'll show you actually on the screen at the same time. It allows me to take the white color and change that to what I want, which is any sort of space that's, you know, thingy. You know what I mean? So for example, if I wanted it to be like a black, and then I wanted this part to be like a white, I get this sort of neon look. I mean, if I made it blue, boom, we've got like a neon looking scene, right? You can use the information. If you want to be different with that information, you can. So a big part about it is being creative with the technical side. And that's something I like to think I'm good at. I'm not very creative when it actually comes to artistic vision, but I'm quite creative when it comes to piecing things together. Reminds me of a horror game. It does a little bit. Quite creative when it comes to piecing logical things together to work in a certain way. In retrospect, I should have probably become a programmer, but I find that boring. So I took my interest in doing that kind of stuff and implemented it into art. And when materials became a node-based system, I was like, yes, because it was something I felt like was perfect to what I wanted to be. I wanted to be creative, but I also liked the technical side, and it was a perfect mix between the two where I could be creative by being logical and by being technical. But yeah, it's fun. I just like it. Let's make it. Oh, was that a hole over there? What's that hole? Oh, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day because I'm getting it's 27 degrees in my room, and I can't have my aircon on while streaming because it'll be really loud for you guys. So I am actually gonna go off. I'm going to do a little bit of 3D off stream, and I'm gonna stream again tomorrow, 100%. No wimping out. We didn't do much today. We did this guy's face, and we did some additional parts of the fish, and we basically just talked the entire time. But that's fine. I'd be productive clearly enough to make the entire scene. We just need to texture it now. You could go different directions with the texturing. So you could put it all onto, because it's like a very basic. So before leaving, I'll just explain how I'm going to texture it. It's a very, very basic scene when it comes to color. Now it depends where I want to go with this, because you've got like parts here that's colored, so it's difficult to keep it one surface. So I could put everything on like a 4K map, and just anything that's like a flat color, keep it on a single sort of pixel area to color that in. Or I could just say screw it and texture every component one by one. I think that way is more reliable, but I think the other way is more, because like you got like wood grain as well. Like different details I do have to work from or work out. So yeah, it's just a little bit of messing around to determine how I want to do that. But we got the deer head today. We got the fish done. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I like to see new faces, as I always do. And if you guys are going to be here tomorrow, when we stream tomorrow, what is it? Saturday, probably around 8 to 8:30 BST, so British Standard Time. Is that what it stands for? I don't know if we're GMT at the moment. Hold on a minute. No, that's fine. Yeah, so 8 o'clock BST. I mean, it's when you tell me you're British anyway, so you would have known. But yeah, so that'd be whatever it is in yours. If you join the Discord, I usually announce when I'm going to do it. And yeah, I will catch you guys then. Bye. I always say that, and I've not even got OBS up to close it. There we go. All right. Bye.